I'm watching Fireball XL5. Hey, how's it going? Let's go look at some books. That's why I started this. Let's go look at some books. Hold on, let me pause this TV show real quick. How are you? Hope everything's going well where you're at. It's fine here. It's kind of starting to warm up. We're going to do this a little different. This is just freehanding. I'm holding the phone in my hand, and there's not going to be any tripod happening, and we're going to make a video. We got to get rid of these books. So as you can see, we've been working on the books here. Everything that was here is all gone now. All the books that we've gone through are all completely gone. This is what we have left, and there's some incense over here. There's still some incense burning on top of that. Anyway, come over here. Let's take a look. Let's get to these books. Let's look at these Swamp Thing figures. Oh, look at this one. This is a cool one. This is the one with, I think his limbs go. Watch what happens when you push that button on his back. I thought he like, what? How does this work? So I think that this guy like falls apart, and then you push that thing on his back, and then it like makes him tight again. Like it brings the strings in. Anyway, he's supposed to like, you pull on these limbs. I can't do it one-handed because I'm holding the phone. Anyway, he like comes into, it looks like he's a stack of stuff, and then when you push the button, it makes it so he can stand up. Anyway, let's move him out of the dang way. Here's another Swamp Thing. There's a lot of Swamp Things going. This is the little Swamp Thing area that's been happening over here. Let's move this larger Swamp Thing. We've seen him before in these videos. Get him out of here. Okay, let's get to work. What books are we going to look at today? The first book we'll look at is this Rudyard Kipling book. It looks like it's a paperback. It is The Best Fiction of Rudyard Kipling. I got this. I belonged to a paperback book club. Remember those where you'd get to pick like 5 books and then pay for 5 books like over the next 2 years or something like that? That's where this came from. And at the time I was working in the emergency room, and I read some of this. That's what this was all about. Could look through here and find what I read, but we're not going to. I think I read Kim, I think is what I read. Everything's kind of in here. Look, see, that was, for some reason, maybe Kim is the first one in here. Look, A Man Who Would Be King. That was a great movie. Rikki Tikki Tavi. Anyway, yeah, we'll get back to this. I need to finish reading this. Okay, we need to move these guys out of the way so that we can stack right here. We don't want to get too close to the incense. The Island of the Blue Dolphins, that's what's next. So this is a new copy of this book that I bought just a couple of years ago. But I read this book originally in elementary school. I think it was 6th grade. We watched the movie, and then we read the book. This is great. It's based on a true story. I really recommend this. Gosh, there's a lot to this story. Anyway, this is really good. It's about a girl who was a real person, who, and her family and her tribe, she really did come from a tribe of island people that lived off the coast of California in the Channel Islands. And the one island that she lived on was inhabited only by native people up into the late 1800s, I think. I can't remember the dates exactly, but I think late 1800s. So at one point, she was the last person left. And yeah, that's what this is about. Her and her dog lived on this island off the coast of California. And the island still exists. Obviously, it's still there. It's a naval base. You need to read this. It's really good. I need to read it myself. That's what I bought it for, but I haven't reread it yet. Great. I forget her name. Maria something. I feel like her real name is Maria something. There's a statue of her in Santa Barbara. It's called San Nicolas Island. Far off the coast of California looms a harsh rock known as San Nicolas Island. Blue dolphins splash in the water surrounding it. Sea otters play in the kelp beds, and seabirds roost in its crags. Once Indians also lived on the island until one day they decided to leave and sail to the east. A young girl was left behind. Karana is that girl. So this is it's not completely factual, maybe partially fictionalized, But her real name is not Karana. Her real name was Maria something, I believe. But I could be wrong. Anyway, in real life, she was taken from this island eventually when they discovered her, and she was taken to another one of the islands, Santa Barbara Island, which is real close to Santa Barbara, if I remember right. And then she ended up getting sick. She got like she contracted some virus from the natives that lived on that island that she would have never visited unless she was rescued, and then she ended up passing away. Terrible story. Sorry to end it that way. Here's another great book of mine from my childhood that I rebought this book. So the reason why I bought that Island of the Blue Dolphins and the reason why I bought this book is because I have granddaughters, and in preparation for giving books to my granddaughters, these are the two books that I want to pass on to them eventually. I read both of these books when I was a kid in 6th grade, and I really liked them. This book, The Summer of the Swans, I read this, like I said, I think 6th grade. It might have been 7th grade. Betsy Byers. Let's read the back. Instead of me describing it, let's just read the back. Sarah's 14th summer was turning out to be the most confusing time of her life up until this summer, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't even want to read it. So what I'll tell you is what this is about. Is about a girl who I guess is 14, and she has a younger brother who is mentally retarded, and he gets lost and goes missing, and that's what this is about her trying to find her missing brother, if I remember right. That's what I remember about it. Here's James Joyce. Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. So, I read this when I was in the Army, and I need to reread it again. I remember liking this. I read this when I was stationed at Fort Ord in Monterey, California. Oh, was there some writing in there? We're doing one-handed book reviews today, where we're looking at books one-handedly, so I can't really go through them very much because I'm holding the camera with the other hand. Hopefully I haven't put my fingers over the microphone. That might be the case. It might be completely screwed up. What can it tell us about James Joyce and the Portrait of an Artist? Not much, other than just some people saying what they think is good about it. It's all going to be saying that it's profound and beautiful. It's one of the best novels in the history of the world. I think it's about being Irish. This book was a gift from one of my older sisters for me to give to my kids, but neither one of them ended up reading it, so it ended up staying at the house. I think so. My youngest son read this book. I haven't read it yet, but my youngest son read this, and the other one. There's another one that I have that was also a gift that the kids that Dylan read. My youngest son read. I just haven't read it yet, but maybe I will read it. That's why I kept it around. If I don't read it, I'll pass it on to him for his kids. Oh, look, it's Mr. Cotter. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Though the birds have all changed since you've been around, they're common only to the Yucatan Peninsula. Who was gonna see them? Who was gonna see them? Meyer's gonna see 'em. Meyer's gonna see 'em. He loves his birds. He's kind of a turd. Welcome back. So there's another one of my bird books. This is a Mexican birds. See? Common birds of the Yucatan Peninsula. This looks like it's going to be good, right? Look at these guys. Ooh, look at that woodpecker right there. Black-bellied whistling duck. Well, we know him. We know him too. Ooh, look at the osprey. So this looks like a great book. Obviously, I'm a bird guy, so that's why I have this book, and this is a really good one. I've gone through the whole thing, and it's been a while, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, let's move this Sean Cassidy doll. See, look at this. We're going to put him over here by the incense burner. Get out of the way. All right. Here's another book. This was a gift from my mother. It's Madame Curie by Eve Curie, who must be Madame Curie. I haven't read this. She gave me this a long time ago. Pretty sure she gave me this when I was in the medical corps in the Army. That would explain why she gave it to me. This had been one of her books from the very beginning. This is her maiden name. She signed it. It says Carmen Reese. Race or Reese. We pronounced it Reese since we were Americans, but the actual Portuguese pronunciation is Race. December of 43, I guess, is when she got this book. Well, it's mine now, but I definitely need to read it. It's a biography by Madame Curie. Let's check it out. We need to read this, don't we? There she is, an August portrait. Made in 1929. This looks good. All right, we'll get to it. Moving right along. I read this book already. I read this at work. Let's pull it up. It's called I'm No Hero by Charlie Plumb. A POW story is told to Gwen DeWerff. Look at all the bracelets. Did you guys ever have any of this, have a POW bracelet? This is a really good book. I remember reading this and savoring it, I guess is how I would put that. This is a signed edition that says Stay on Target, autographed by Charlie Plumb. So I really want to reread this. I'm going to leave this one out, actually. As I mentioned, when I read this, I was working, and this was a book that when I was reading it, I was like savoring these chapters. I can remember savoring this book. Let's see here. It's a thing to Charlie Plumb. If you want to write to Charlie Plumb, I guess. Is that what it is? You want to get more books from him. Yeah. That's what it is. Okay. Well, let's leave this one. This will end up at the top of the stack. I'm No Hero by Charlie Plumb. Here's another one of those books that's from that collection, the mystery or the intrigue or whatever it is. Espionage or I don't know. Here's The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. We've got about 4 books in there. This is another book that was a gift from my mother. This is after I had my kids. I have 2 sons. See, it says Sons of Fathers Love. Heart-lifting stories of fathers and their sons. So she gave me this during those days of, what was it called? Chicken Soup for the Soul. Right? This was about that period. This is like the late 90s, like 30 years ago. It says, to David, who is a great dad to my grandson's mom. Isn't that nice? That's nice that she did that. It's very thoughtful. I haven't read the book. I need to read the book. I was busy working, especially during those times. But my whole life I've been busy working until recently. And the good, the bad, and the mad. And now it's time to read the books and to go through them and find the ones that, well, really all of them. I wouldn't have kept them around this long if I didn't want to read them. What's this? I went to this. It's the Sacramento Horror Film Festival. I still have a t-shirt from this. We went to this. I took my sons to this. Remember this guy? Mr. Lobo? Okay, he was a local Sacramento area horror host. The good, the bad, and the mad. So I remember this being really good. Let's move this over here. See, look, some weird people in American history. So let's look through the index and see. I remember reading through this. This is also a book that I savored. Okay, here we go. So these are short, like, essays on these famous people in American history. So Jane Addams, Most Dangerous Woman in America, P.T. Barnum. Look, Ambrose Bierce. Nobody Will Find My Old Bones. Lizzie Borden, Edgar Casey, Wrong Way Corrigan, George Armstrong Custer, Isadora Duncan, Harry Houdini, Robert E. Howard, Marie LeVay. Is it LeVay or Laveau? Laveau. Stonewall Jackson, Huey Long. Look, there's Lovecraft, Cotton Mather, Tecumseh, Nikola Tesla. Look, there's Sarah Winchester. Yeah, this is good, man. I need to also leave this out and read through this again. Good. So, in case you're wondering again, it's called The Good, the Bad, and the Mad. Let's give another look at the here so you can, if you're interested in getting one of these for yourself. The Good, the Bad, and the Mad. Some Weird People in American History by E. Randall Floyd. I don't know if there was a dust jacket to this. I think I got this at a used bookstore or I know I did. This came from a Goodwill thrift store situation. We're almost done. Let's just do these last two books down here. This is also came from my mother, Dr. Tom Dooley's 3 great books. Let's see what they are. Deliver Us from Evil, The Edge of Tomorrow, and The Night They Burned the Mountain. Pretty sure this came from my mother as well. Yep, look, there she is. I've never seen that one before. This is the first book that I've found that I have that has that library plate in it. Looks like this is about Thailand or Vietnam. Yeah, look at this. Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. Ooh, I don't know anything about this. What is this about, you guys? This is a book about Vietnam, it looks like. From probably the early 60s. Deliver Us from Evil was 56, 58, and 60. Got to learn about these books. I don't know anything about them. Obviously, there must have been a dust cover jacket on here that wasn't there when I got the book. So I don't know what the dust cover looked like. And here's last book we'll look at is another book that came from my mother that she gave me. She had a huge book collection, and I only got a very small portion of her books. There are other people that got way more than me, way more. I only got a small amount. The ones that I have are ones that she personally gave me instead of like boxes of books like after she passed away or something. So I've had all these for a very long time. So she gave me this book early on. Like this came from a book club that she was a part of, and then she gave it to me and I read it, and this is probably like one of the first. So I can remember I read Sherlock Holmes stories that weren't really Sherlock Holmes stories before I read Sherlock Holmes. Like I read this 7% Solution when I was a kid, like when I was about 13 or 14, and I read those Dracula meets Sherlock Holmes books that were written by that guy Fred Saberhagen. Do you know what I'm talking about? They were really good. There's like 2 or 3 of them in the series. They were great. So I read those before I actually read actual like Sherlock Holmes. But this is a Sherlock Holmes story. The 7% Solution being a reprint from the reminiscences of John H. Watson, M.D., as edited by Nicholas Meyer. It's the first publication of a heretofore unknown and astounding episode in the career of Sherlock Holmes, as recorded by his closest friend and chronicler, Dr. John Watson. So here's a different one. This is another one. So I don't remember ever seeing this plate before either. That's just a different signature. It doesn't look like the way she typically signed. I wonder if she really signed that. It looks like it. Anyway, that's the last book we'll look at. Is a book that she gave me that actually had a cover. A dust cover. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video today looking at more books that I own. And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.